Hello, this is Brian Purdy with the Florida Aviation Network. Here today at Day 7 of Air Venture 2021 in Hangar C with the FUN contingent to let everybody else know that we're meeting again next year in beautiful Lakeland, Florida. Today we're with Andy Ovans, and he's going to talk a little bit about the time here and the project with the Zenith aircraft they've been working on. Hello, Andy. It's great to see you again.
Great to see you. It's one of my favorite things of the year. We were just talking, getting out and seeing our aviation friends is an amazing thing. So,
yes, yeah. And I'm glad that FUN was the start of the year that did that. How is everything going for the booth here at Air Venture?
So the booth all week has been fantastic. It's the positivity of not only our event moving into Oshkosh, but now taking Oshkosh and leveraging that into other events and stuff going on in the industry, and the hype is back. We got the Thunderbirds coming back in April, and and there's a lot of excitement moving forward, and a lot of people. You hear the word bucket list a lot, so it's exciting. There's so much to do around Lakeland, so it's you get the families walking through, and it's fun to talk about all the other things Polk County offers, and of course our booth is split between Visit Central Florida as well as Sun and Fun. So we love talking about our home, and it's a really good time.
Okay. Well, I know there was a project you would hope to get here but didn't make it, the Zenith aircraft. Please tell us about that and the special features that it is designed with.
Yeah, thank you. So it's a project that I'm very passionate about. It's a Zenith 750 cruiser that we've highly modified, and the purpose behind it is to teach people with physical disabilities how to fly. So the left side of the airplane is equipped with hand controls. One of the big key features, easily identifiable, is we don't have a traditional panel in the airplane. So we have what Zenith came out with the Super Duty called the UN panel, which is basically, for layman's terms, it's a articulating TV mount that you'd have on your big screen TV. And they've adapted, that to the firewall to put a screen on. Rick Garcia, our chairman of the board, Gulf Coast Avionics, he came to us and said, I want to put a Garmin G3X in there, and Rick really made the whole Garmin suite come to life on that airplane. So big thanks to him and his team. They've been huge supporters from the start, and helping me. I'm not a wiring guy, so having a tech come over from time to time and help us out, get that wrapped up has been really awesome. So one of the problems is, how do you put a G3X on the UN panel, as they call it, the TV mount? So our students at Central Florida Aerospace Academy at 14, 15 years old get SolidWorks certification. So I'm not a CAD guy. I want to be. It's just I have these students that have these sets of skills that I can only dream about. So we were talking with the kids. Of course, the high school kids at Central Florida Aerospace Academy are helping us build it, as well as some of our other volunteers on site. So scratching my head, talking to the kids, I said, I have this idea. How do we make this work? And Landon Kincart, one of our seniors, he had just graduated this year. Landon came and he says, we can do that in SolidWorks, no problem. So we took the file, ran over to Gulf Coast Avionics, and Rick's team cut the aluminum pieces out, and then the kids and I put it all together. So now we've got basically a factory-built part. It looks very professionally done. We can replicate it 1,000 times, and now we can put a Garmin G3X by use of an adapter plate, essentially, to make that work. So very, very high-tech, very unique application. And the concept behind the UN panel for us is you can roll your wheelchair up to the airplane, slide everything out of the way, so now if you're a paraplegic or an amputee, now you don't have to worry about smacking the panel or stuff like that. The added bonus behind it is amazing visibility. So we don't have that panel and everything blocking it, so we basically have almost all the windshield looking forward, and the Zenith is just an incredibly high visibility airplane, with the big bubble doors and the sunroof as it is, so it's fantastic.
Great. Looking forward to seeing it fly, maybe at Sun and Fun as a demonstration?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got the airworthiness certificate on July 5th. In a combination of getting ready for the show and working a couple bugs out, I did fly the airplane last Friday. And we are, when we get home here from Oshkosh, we're going to be pushing out those 40 hours to get our phase 1 flight testing done. And then when we're done with that, we're going to fly it to Mississippi. John's 360 Coatings is going to be sponsoring the paint on it.
Great.
So, he's a world-renowned warbird painter, so the airplane will be in great hands. And then we've got a mini tour this fall. We've got a bunch of stops we're planning to get out and start sharing the airplane. So hopefully by Sun and Fun, we've got several students. The airplane really came about because of a partnership we have with an organization by the name of Able Flight. And Able Flight gives scholarships to people with disabilities. So as soon as we've got some hours on the airplane, Able Flight is ready to start sending students, and we're looking forward to really being the second campus. They have a campus up in the Midwest here, and we'll be the second campus to start flying students. So one of the really neat parts about it is most organizations, they'll help you out, and they get the marketing photo, and you're on your way. When we agreed to do this project, we said we're going to set this up in a flying club. If you're disabled, aircraft ownership is probably not in your cards. You probably have a disability. You probably can't do the same job you did before. I'm very proud of the fact that we're going to put it in a flying club, so you can fly as a graduate of our program, come back and fly that airplane as you financially have the room to do so.
Is this a new flying club or Lakeland flying club? Or?
So it's going to be an ACE flying club, Aerospace Center for Excellence flying club. It's going to be set up really based around the Zenith, and again, going back to the buzz in the booth is. We put a little bit of feelers out there, like, the airplane has flown and there's a lot of people paying attention to it. But now there's people saying, I'd like to donate my airplane to that cause as well. So there's a good chance in the near future here that flying club is really, several airplanes serving that mission.
Okay, great. And just because it's configured for the capability of disabled people, it's not preventing non-disabled people to make sure we do flight tests and such like that. Yep.
So the Zenith we built it retains the center stick like every airplane that they put out. So you got pitch and roll on the center Y stick, they call it. And what we did is we adapted. They have a dual stick option that a stick can go between your legs like a paper cub. They have a dual stick option. So what we did is we took the mounts from the dual stick, modified them to make it work for us, and now that left stick will go between your legs, but there's a handbrake on it, and essentially you and I can fly the airplane like normal. You don't need to use all those features. And on the right side I've got full brakes, full differential brakes, and I've got dual throttles in it. There's a feature that we just recently announced. We worked with a company, Trio Avionics. What we did is we converted an autopilot servo to the throttle. So as a flight instructor, I want you to have your hands on the throttle and your hands on the stick. Well, how do you do that if your hands on the rotor bar and everything else? So what we did is we took a Ray Allen grip with a hat switch on top of it, and now hooking that to the servo, and now I can do a hat switch, button up, button down for a throttle, just like a trim, just like anything else. And it's working fantastic. I didn't want to announce that till it was ready to go, and we were working some bugs out with some other wiring issues, and now it's working great. So
right.
Yeah, it's
was
cool.
it one of the young people that came up with that idea also, or
there's a 750 Zenith 750 STOL up in North Carolina. Gentleman's a quadriplegic and he's a pilot. So Zenith modified that aircraft to fit his needs. Ironically enough, when I started searching to kind of copy that system, nobody wanted to talk to me about it. And Trio was the one that did that servo. And when we called them, they said, absolutely, we're on board. This is a beautiful thing you guys are doing.
Okay, great.
What we did differently, so this is going to sound weird, but you're sitting there with a bunch of high school kids, young adults, not kids. And you have to think like the disabled pilot that's going to use it. So we all think, oh, well, this is easy. We're going to do this. And then it's like, well, how do you get your wheelchair in? How do you do this? How do you do that? So So that has been I love projects that make you use your brain.
Yes.
I just absolutely love that. And it's awesome to have input from everybody. Young adults can have very crazy ideas sometimes, as well as adults, but it was really fun to just sit and think about it as a team, and kind of have that open slate mindset where my idea might sound great, but you really had the magic bullet. So here, a great example is on the first airplane that was done with that servo. They mounted the servo in the engine bay. Well, there's a lot of heat in the engine bay. I didn't want to do that. There was some guys that I talked to that, the naysayers in the background that, well, that ain't going to work, or that's not going to work long term. So what we did is we actually mounted it inside the console in the airplane and routed a push-pull throttle cable through the firewall. Well, that resulted in having to figure out how to run 3 throttle cables to the carburetor and all that, and again, sitting as a team, kind of thinking through the process, we came up with a solution that's different. And when the FAA came to inspect the airplane, they gave you the congratulatory, that's really cool, you're doing this, So it's a very good feeling to know that there's people with very, aerospace engineering backgrounds and stuff at the FSDO that give you a pat on the back for things you've thought of, and that's the beauty of experimental aviation, right? So that's it's not just, well, you can do whatever you want, it's experimental. It's doing it safely, and then offering a product, especially like the unpanel, the box that we made for the G3X. You can call my high school students and say, hey, can I buy one from you, or can I? So they're glad to help as well. Yeah. So it's just such a cool project. We've had kids as young as 3 pulling rivets on it, and we've had Landon, I was telling you about, when we were early in the project. It was about a 2-year project for us. We had a team of Vietnam vets come in, and they were both aircraft mechanics back in Vietnam, but they haven't pulled rivets in forever. So here you got a high school young man teaching 2 retired aircraft mechanics how to rivet, and it was just every moment of the process was just very special to us,
And it sounds like you're not going to keep it a secret on how to do this. So if other people want to do it, we're not going to make it proprietary or trademark or.
No, absolutely. So Chris Hines, the designer, we recently lost him. That was, that was his philosophy, that anybody can do this, and I truly believe anybody can build an airplane. So we did work with the team at Zenith. It was their idea to start with.
Okay.
And really, what it boils down to is we wanted to have it available that when the product is done and thoroughly tested, that you could call them up and say, I want to build one too. So just like the Aerospace Center for Excellence, we want to share exactly what we're doing. We'll give you the binder. Like we have people coming to our campus all the time saying, what are you guys doing? How do you do it? And we're glad to share that data. That's what we're about. I wish there was 100 of these things flying, because Ed Young, our executive director that has recently moved on, Ed said something in a crowded room one day, and he said, the disabled pilot passes the same check ride you and I do. So when they're in that airplane, they are a pilot. They're not disabled. And that gives me goosebumps to say that. It's what motivates me to get out of bed every morning. It really, I want to share this with as many people, because I think it's such an amazing thing to do, to be able to do that for people.
Great. Now, I understand the Skylab is opening in August. Is that correct?
Yeah, so half the team has gone back. On August 4th is the ribbon cutting. It's very exciting. That was a project that really started when the pandemic started. We had reached, as a company, that decision, like, what do we do? Right? We can't sit and do absolutely nothing. So that money that was set aside for that project continued on, and here we are coming out. Very, very positive, forward thinking at the moment, the way the industry is going. And here we're unveiling a new building, and I was just in it before we left, and it is absolutely amazing. There's a project, Science on a Sphere, and in the hangar bay on the end is a carbon fiber globe, and there's a series of projectors in the room. And NOAA, it's one of their projects. NOAA's developing educational materials for it that will be able to study the effects of the heating and cooling of the earth, and I'm talking you know, the global warming type stuff. So seasonal changes up to the earth. When Hurricane Elsa was on our shore off Tampa, we were watching it real time while I was out in the Gulf, you know, and they've got some programming that they're working on, so we can look at hurricane seasons by the year, and we can look at different things. You know, a lot of people think of NOAA as a hurricane hunters, but they do weather research all over the globe. So there's ice patterns up north, you know, Great Lakes and stuff. There's a lot of of course, we see stuff, Lake Mead and stuff out in Arizona. A lot of that starts as ice cap, you know, and all that. So the STEM laboratories that are at the new Skylab edition are absolutely first class. We're incredibly, again, positive and forward thinking, and it's like, what else can we do? Because it's honestly, it's, as an adult, I don't want to leave. I was just sat and looked at that sphere like, oh, that is so cool, and I'm so glad to be a part of it.
And I can imagine having the Zenith there on opening day saying, we're not just all this, we're actually hands-on too.
Yeah, so that's what I love to tell people, our story. We are not an air show that happens 1 week out of the year. A lot of people still don't know what we do 51 weeks out of the year, and that's youth education. And I say we're all youth. So, but you know, really through our STEM education and working with Central Florida Aerospace Academy, you know, the aviation career paths that are out there, and we're hard charging, and not only creating pilots but creating aerospace engineers, and you know, all the other STEM. It's got to start somewhere, and I think that's the seed that plants a career. So you know, the educators back home are right now putting the final touches on all the laboratory stuff, and it's very, very, very cool. You know, a couple years ago we had some cool camps, but now it's like supercharged. It's very, and that all stemmed from we had our birthday bash during the show, and we had a record year. We had some donors really kick in and make all this happen, and it's absolutely a blessing that there's people in the world that support stuff like this.
Great. Wow. That's a lot of stuff we talked about today.
That's what we're doing 24/7, you know, and we're always trying to search for the new things as well. But that's what makes me proud to be a part of this organization. It's, as you know, volunteering with us, there's always that next you know, idea that's popping up that we're like, that's really cool.
Wow. Well, I see some people looking to talk with the crew here, so I'm going to let you go. And once again, this is Brian Purdy with the Florida Aviation Network, and Andy Ovans with Sun & Fun, and the whole outfit there. And we're looking to take a look at his Zenith and flying at Sun & Fun. Have a good day. Florida Aviation Network in the clear.